Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. On 15th November, the United Nations Organization's Department of Social and Economic Affairs launched a report and said on 15th November that the world had 8 billion people, which means the 8th billion child was born on this particular day, which means the world's population has reached 8 billion. So in this context, we will analyze what is the implications of this and how did India contribute to this last 1 billion population, and over the years how has the world's population grown and to reach 8 billion people now. So what is the context? As we have seen here, the November 15th, the United Nations launched or came up with a report and said the world's population has reached 8 billion, and for this 7 billion to 8 billion. So in this 1 billion population that world has seen, India is said to be the largest contributor to this 1 billion population. So the demographers expect the rapid population growth by the end of 21st century, and by 21st century, by 2100, the world's population will reach 11 billion. So now we are 8 billion, and in the next 80 odd years, we would increase our population by 3 more billion, and the world's population would land at 11 billion. So how did this evolution happen? You can see here, in the year 1804, that is early 1800s, the world's population was 1 billion, which means if you consider all the prehistoric period, all the phases of the human evolution, including the Australopithecus, Paranthropus, Neanderthal, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and the Homo sapien. So from the first Homo sapien who landed on the planet till 1804, after thousands of years, it took thousands of years for the human population to reach 1 billion, and in the year 1804, we have 1 billion people on the planet. From here, for the world's population to reach 2 billion, that is to double the world's population, from 1800, you can see in the year 1927, the world's population was 2 billion. Okay, which means technically 124 years or 123 years, in the last 123 years between 1803 to 1927, the world's population doubled or added 1 billion. To add 1 billion, we took thousands of years. From 1 billion to 2 billion, we took 123 years. Clear? From 2 billion, you can see 3 billion here by 1960. In order to add 1 more billion from 2 billion, we just took 33 years. First we took thousands of years, second was 123 years, now it is just 33 years. Similarly, you can see here, from 7 billion to 8 billion, the world's population was 7 billion in 2012, and it was expected that we would reach 8 billion by 2024. But now we are in 2022 and we have already crossed 8 billion. Okay, so in order for this 1 billion to add up from 7 to 8, we just took 10 years. Okay, what is the end? Where are we going till from now? From 8 billion to 9 billion, probably we will be doing it in next 10 to 12 years. And from 9 billion to 10 billion in probably next 10 to 12 years. So where will this end? Where will this population end? And from when will we start declining in our world's population? Okay, see, the population explosion is one of the greatest reason for the exploitation of the overuse of the resources. So we have to contain this so that we can achieve something called as sustainable development goals. So we'll see what are the highlights of this particular report that was given up by the United Nations. United Nations says that the India's population will begin to decline only after 2063. So only after 2063, India's population will start declining, and by 2063, India's population would be 1.7 billion. As of now, the India's population is 1.3 or 1.35 billion. Okay, so by 2063, our population would have been 1.7 billion, and from that point of time, we'll start reducing. Whereas the world's population is expected to grow until 2086. So, which means even after the India's population starts declining, the world's population will start increasing, or world's population continues to increase. And there are a lot of concerns about this increasing and the decreasing in the world's population with respect to some of the countries. Some countries like Japan and China and some of the European countries are witnessing the reduced population now, where the entire world's population is increasing, the population of these countries is reducing. So this is the event that is happening here, and these countries are concerned about their reduced working age or reduced population. And why are we talking about the challenges of the depopulation? What are the challenges? Why are we even considering a lot about the population? See, population explosion was one of the negative effects that we have seen. In all the essays in our schools that we would have written, population explosion was a common topic. But now here we are discussing about the challenges of the depopulation, which means having a great population is important. What are the concerns with respect to depopulation? You can see here, reduced working force. See, any country for that matter, economy will be its backbone. If its economy has to be robust, if the economy of a country has to be good, then it should have people who create demand. Okay, reduced demand. For any economy to progress, it should have demand in its economy. And where will this demand come from? Demand will come from people. What happens once people start demanding? Once people start demanding, the country will start producing. Once the country is producing, it is creating employment. Once it is creating employment, the people are getting income. Once people are getting income, they will start demanding again. So this is how the prosperity of a country, standard of living of people in a particular country will start increasing. So this forms a cycle. If there is reduced working force, if there is a reduced population, then the demand would be less. Then the country should produce less. Then the employment generation is less. Then the income is less. If the income is less, again the demand is less. So overall, the prosperity of the economy starts reducing. So this is what is the challenge, or this is what is the concern of some of the countries whose working age population is reducing, or those countries which are witnessing the decrease in population. Lower economic growth we have seen, and skewed sex ratio. So these are some of the challenges of depopulation. And the next thing to be discussed is something called as fertility differential in India, which means what is fertility for that matter? See, fertility is the number of children that a woman can give birth to in her lifetime. So in India, according to the National Family Health Survey 5 and also sample registration system, the total fertility rate is around 2.2. Okay, 2.2 is the total fertility rate, but 2.1 is the replacement level of fertility, which means the India is almost close to the replacement level of fertility. This is something that we can understand. So in this scenario, we have two situations in India. We have states like, for example, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, whose fertility rate is around 1.7 and 1.8, which means it is less than the total fertility rate of the entire nation, which is less than the average fertility rate. On the other hand, we have states like West Bengal, we have states like Bihar, where the fertility rate is actually greater than 3. Okay, so this is something called as fertility differential. So why do we have this difference in the fertility rate in India, in different states? Lot many reasons. Like this differential fertility, we have something called as rural-urban divide, which means women in a rural area is giving birth to more number of children than a woman in the urban area. So that is the rural-urban divide. Similarly, we have Hindu-Muslim divide. According to a lot of research papers that have been submitted, the fertility rate of a Hindu woman is actually less, and the fertility rate of a Muslim woman is actually more. Similarly, we have North India and South India, which means if you are from any of these metropolitan cities in South India, you will know this. Like, for example, in the cities of Mumbai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, you will have lot of North Indians coming here and working in the cities, or finding their livelihood here. So why is this happening? This is happening because the North Indian states are exporting labor to the South Indian states. So this is happening because the fertility rate in North India is actually more than the fertility rate in South India. So this is called as differential fertility. And why do we have this differential fertility? We have this differential fertility because of the economic growth. See, why economic growth? See, economy, as and when the economy of a country progresses, as and when the economy of the country starts increasing, it says that the fertility rate reduces. Okay, so this is according to a lot of theories that have been explained, that the economic growth is inversely proportional to the fertility rate. Use of the contraceptives, agreed. The more use of the contraceptives and the family planning programs, the fertility rate would be less. Emergence of the nuclear families. Earlier, there were joint families where the grandparents or the relatives would take care of the children. As of now, we have nuclear families. We just have husband and wife taking care of the child. Then, the child is seen as a liability and not an asset. In this scenario, having less number of children is very advantageous for father and mother who are living in the urban area than the father and mother who are in the rural area, a part of joint family. Early marriages, for example, child marriages for that matter. So, increased child marriages or the early marriages at the age of 16, 17 and 18 increases the fertility rate. Late marriages reduces the fertility rate. Sun meta preference, the last point. Sun meta preference is a term which was popularized by the Economic Survey in 2019 and 2020 for that matter. So, sun meta preference talks about how some of the families prioritize a male child over a female child. So, that is sun meta preference. So, these are some of the reasons for differential fertility in India. So, in this scenario, what should we do? What is it on cards for India, which is trying to reach a mark of $5 trillion economy in near future? See, for every country for that matter, we have seen the workforce is very important. For India, we have 140 crore people, around 140 crore people in India, and the entire world is looking at India. Okay, India has the largest English-speaking population in the world. India has the largest number of people who are using the technology, like for example, the internet or the smartphones, and also WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, name any of the applications that is global, and India is the biggest market. So out of this 140 crore population that we have, we need to convert this population into something called as demographic dividend. Demographic dividend, so that we can easily achieve the dream of $5 trillion economy soon. Else, if we won't do it, then the same demographic dividend would get converted to demographic disaster. Okay, demographic disaster. How do we do this? By ensuring the amount of education, the quality education, quality healthcare, and the skill development. These are some of the methods to ensure that the population gets converted as a demographic dividend and not a demographic disaster. That's all for the day. If you have liked the video, please share it amongst your friends and subscribe the Legacy IAS Academy YouTube channel for more such enriching content. Have a nice day. Thank you.